Okay, so today's video is on the New Zealand Warriors, our NRL series of clubs videos. Now, they didn't finish the season well last year. They had a very poor season. They were fourth bottom of the league, only 3 teams below them, and I think they could struggle again. Because we look at what they've lost. They've lost Hoffman and Marcelino and Charlie Gubb, 3 key forwards. Now, Charlie Gubb is not always a first team regular, but he's a depth player. He can play 11, 12, 14 games a season. He can play half a season, he can probably play a full season. But he's a depth player. And that's an issue they've got, is depth. Now, bear in mind, their captain's Tuivasa Sheck, TVS. I do not understand I can understand having him in the side, captain. He's still got a ways to develop his game yet. You've still got Simon Mannering. Now, he's got to be running out of petrol in the tank at some point. He's been in the club for over 10 years. He's got to be getting tired. Isaac Luke, key player. Solomon Carter, he's become a key player. Sean Johnson, now this is strength and weakness. I've taken my notes here. Sean Johnson is a strength and a weakness, simply because he's exceptionally talented. He can create something out of nothing. He can make space. He can break the line. He can bring players on. The thing is, not all players are on the same wavelength as him, so he can do these crazy plays. And maybe only 3 players out of the rest of the team realise that's the play he wants to do. So he needs to grow into that leadership role. Because players like Nickel Klogstad on the wing, who came in for Solomon Carter when he was injured last season and did really well, got 7 tries in 7 games. Those younger players are going to need, they probably will be happy to play off the cuff, but they're going to also need structured leadership and guidance. And can Sean Johnson temper his game with brilliant plays, but also just a bit more structure in the game, good kicking game, good passing game, just nice, structured, sensible, simple, and combine the two. Because he's a bit of a maverick when it comes to his playing style. Also, he is still recovering from that ankle injury. He's still not the Sean Johnson involved. Another issue I have is a lot of these Warriors players, a lot of the squad, did really badly at the World Cup in New Zealand. They really, really struggled badly, and that could affect them. We've got to see how they come back to their club and how they perform, because they were embarrassing at the World Cup. Performance-wise, the Tonga game, they were well in control, up on the scoreboard, blown away that second half. The Fiji game, low scoring, they could not, get any points. They were defending a lot of the time. So, something's gone wrong there. They have lost, as I said, a bit of depth with 3 key forwards and Marcelino, Hoffman and Gubb leaving. I'm a big fan of Charlie Gubb. He's only a couple months younger than me. I've been watching his career since he burst on the scene. I kind of want him to play every game. He could play a full season, play every minute of the season. He really could be one of those players. He really could. Thing is, when you lose depth players like that, even if they're not playing every game, but they're there and balance the squad, and the 18th man, and you lose depth like that. So when a player does go down with an injury in the forward pack, kind of worrying. I looked at their squad that they've got, or the players they've got going forward. It's not laced with stars, and it's not laced with experience. Some of them have only been playing at the first grade for a couple of years. Now, I could be wrong, but outside of the core, they are lacking games played compared to other teams. Other teams have players who are in their 20s who play a couple hundred games. They are one of the younger teams, not going to lie that, but there are a couple of older players there. Now, Mannering, how much has he got left in the tank, and can Sean Johnson bring more stability to his game? I love his maverick plays, I really do, but he needs to bring more structure to his game, to bring on some of these younger, less experienced players, so that there is a structure that they can evolve their game around. Because otherwise it could all go to pot. In attack, they've got to figure out how to score points, and in defence, they've got to defend better, because some of the batterings they got in the last few years, they have had some heavy defeats. They have been held to nil. They've gone on some losing streaks in the last couple of years that have been more than a couple of games. So they've got to try and... They're not going to finish bottom. No issue with them finishing bottom. They're going to finish higher than that. It's whether they can get to finals footy, or they can at least build some momentum where they can rebuild and look forward. That's that is the issue, is to get this squad balance right, experience and youth, because they've lost a lot of experienced players over the years. And Nicole Clockstad, that's the name, because I can never pronounce it. He came in for his 7 games last year, did amazingly well, and now he signed a contract to keep him at the club for a couple more years. So instead of losing those youth players, you want to keep them. They might benefit if the NRL decided to expand or relocate into the South Island of New Zealand and make there a second New Zealand base side. They could benefit from that. They could. That's my view anyway. It gives them a rivalry to have, because at the moment they're just there in Auckland at Mount Smart Stadium. There's no rivalry, so to speak. Across the Tasman, you've got all the Australian sides in Sydney, Queensland, and Melbourne, and Canberra, but you haven't got a specific rivalry. Like, you need a bit of that sometimes to fire the players up, which is another thing I think there's an issue with. They need a rival. If that means one of the Sydney clubs, probably West Tigers in my view, move into the South Island just to make it a rivalry, possibly. If that means they expand and bring in a New Zealand side, possibly, but the NRL seems to be dragging their feet over what happens with the Sydney allocation of clubs or expansion. It's been mooted, it's been talked about, and it might benefit a team like the New Zealand Warriors because it might spread out the talent pool a bit more, which means, it also means there's another catchment area for youth players to come through. But that's another debate for another day. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. This video's, I've been planning it for a little bit. I've taken some notes. I didn't go into like how badly they played last year. They finished 4th bottom. There were 3 teams worse than them, but a couple of those teams looked like they could improve, and that puts them in a precarious position going forward, because that Newcastle have strengthened their team significantly, and that's got to be making them look over their shoulders going, okay, when the basement team actually now looks like it could be mid-table at best, but has clearly improved the side, that's got to make you worry and go, right, are we good enough? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, place your comments below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.